Major funding for these broadcasts has been provided by grants from Madison Realty Capital, Capital One Bank, New York Community Bank, M&T Bank, Sterling National Bank, Meridian Capital Group, Customers Bank, AmTrust Title, Ariel Property Advisors. Additional funding has been provided by AVR Realty Company, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Briarwood Organization, CBRE, Chase Commercial Term Lending, Chase Mortgage Lending, Citizens Bank, CPEX Real Estate Services, Colliers International NYC, Collins Building Services, Douglaston Development, Levine Builders, Flushing Bank, Friedman LLP, Handler Real Estate Organization, Handro Properties, Hodges Ward Elliott, Inc., Investors Bank, James D. Kuhn Real Estate Institute at Syracuse University, Kilroy Architectural Windows, Matone Group, Mercantile Bank, New Banks, Newmark Knight Frank, Optimum Window Manufacturing Corp., People's United Bank, Rockefeller Group, Rosewood Realty Group, SJP Properties, Stonehenge NYC, TD Bank, Terra CRG, the Meringoff Family Foundation, the Moynihan Organization, Moynihan Capital Partners, and these friends.
Can I sit here alone with three restaurateur chefs and talk about the conditions today, running a business, city field, right? Okay, Mexican restaurant, burgers, fine dining, okay? You know, what's going on? So I have Josh Capon, Dan Kluger, and Drew Naporin to talk about the state of the restaurant market. So what's the biggest challenge today in the business? Is it the tipping? Is it the minimum wage? What do you see as your biggest problem today?
I think finding good people across the board to represent you and your brand and accomplish your mission, I think it's very challenging to find good people.
I think I was reading one of the articles that you were quoted on. You said, look, you got a lot of people who are in the entertainment field who really don't want to be in the restaurant business, but they're there because they need a job. So they don't have the passion for the situation. How do you get that right type of person to work for you?
I think the one question I ask on every job interview is I always say, do you have hospitality in your blood? And they look at me like, what? And I said, do you have hospitality in your blood? Because if you genuinely don't want to take care of people, then don't be in this business. And I you know, a lot of the front of the house especially, you know, are young kids that are aspiring. I always say to them on the interview, what do you really want to do? And they go, well, I want to be a server at Lure. I said, no, what do you really want to do? Nobody went to high school saying I want to be a server in New York City. They said, well, I want to be a musician, I want to be an actress, I want to be a writer. I said, great, well, I respect that, but if this is the job that's going to pay your bills, you need to show up to work and you need to give me 110%. Because this is what we do. This is my livelihood, this is my craft.
How do you find help?
I mean, look, there's a bazillion platforms these days and word of mouth.
People always come to New York City. Everybody wants to be in the Big Apple, but it's hard. And, you know, as I had recently had David Burke on my podcast, and he was saying, you know, the restaurant business is really tough. You work till 12 and then you party from 12 to 5. But how do you find?
I mean, look, there's so many, you know, the digital age, there's so many different platforms these days. I mean, you used to place an ad on, you know, New York Times, right? I think that's almost obsolete. Now there's Craigslist, there's Harry, there's all these, you know, there's tons of resources. I think word of mouth. I think, you know, one thing that I'm lucky about, we don't have much turnover in my restaurants. I think we provide a nice work environment. They do well. It's consistently busy. So for the most part, we're okay. But finding good people when you need them is tough, from managers to anything.
Dan, when you opened the Blurring place, how hard was it to find the good staff?
It was hard. I mean, you did the Craigslist, culinary agents, all these different things. You did open calls, and you tried to weed through and get the people that believe in hospitality, believe in what we were doing. Some people make it, some people don't. I think it is the physical staffing is the hardest thing, and then I think that obviously the financial, the labor cost is probably the next hardest thing. But I don't think that if you paid X amount more, you're necessarily going to get that much more in terms of candidates. I just think the pool is very different. You talked before about your externship at Oriole, and you applied, and there were 17 other people, and you were the one to get it. There isn't that anymore. You don't have a waiting list, with the exception of a few restaurants out there. There's no waiting list to get in the door. It's a very different environment today.
I remember when we opened the Bloor. When we opened the Bloor, I spent 6 weeks training front of the house and training back of the house. By week 2, all of those people were gone.
And that's
Every one of them.
That's really what's crazy.
Because the vets and the people that know what they're doing, they ain't sticking around for training. They're going to come in and they're like, "You open? Okay, let's get to work."
And you, what do you see?
The thing about staffing is that we're all trying to get the same thing. We're all looking for the same thing, and there's vastly more places now. There just is. So where we would call a friend or a fellow restaurateur and, hey, if you get a resume or something, word of mouth. That was usually the way we did it. I don't see the loyalty anymore. Even if the place where, if you create an atmosphere of a good work environment, especially in the front of the house, they're not going to stay. And a very small percentage of people. I mean, in every restaurant that I own, I have one guy who's been there from the beginning. One guy. And then it's a weird thing. You come to work and say, "Oh, what happened to what's her name? Oh, she went back to." It's never that they weren't happy and they went someplace else for more money or something. It's just it's natural attrition, I guess.
You've been in the business for over 40 years. So what do you say today is your biggest challenge?
Well, it's very simple. The restaurant business used to survive on 3 basic elements: low food cost, low rent, low labor. 3 things.
They were all out.
3 things are ridiculous now. So and we passed on the savings. We charge very little money because people can shop and they can see what an apple costs. So we would charge maybe 2.5, 3 times what you would pay for something we charged in a restaurant. That's ridiculous. So now that all those 3 things have gone through the roof, how do we make money? It's going to be very difficult. People are going to have to get used to the $30 hamburger or something. Something's got to give.
I was talking to this woman the other day at the bar, a friend of mine. She eats there a lot. She was going to order the burger, and somehow or another burgers came up, and she said, my top price is $24 or whatever the number was. Okay. I looked and I said, "How much was your handbag?" She said, $4,000. So the fact that we buy our meat from an organic farm, we grind it ourselves, we make everything, we cook it to order. If I need to charge another $1 to make that cost work, you don't want to pay it. But you'll spend $4,000 on a handbag.
We're at a good economic time. Let's go back 2008. Okay, when there were recessions, when there was a different time. I remember you were with me many times over that period of time where people weren't going to order wine. They were at the beer. There was a change over there.
I don't know what people are talking about when they say the economy's booming. I made more money charging $16 for dinner than I make charging $100. I mean, I just did. Call me old-fashioned, but the way it works today, you basically work to break even. Maybe you'll eke out a profit. Now, I'm not crying because I do own Nobu. And the volume of business that we do at the Nobus in New York and around the country and around the world, quite frankly, it's pretty extraordinary. So, but that's 1 in a million. Right?
So how do you see the opportunities? We were talking before in the green room, Josh. We mentioned sweet greens. We were talking about different type of things. People go in there just. It's a different world. I mean,
it's not a new idea, Michael. It's a recycled. First of all, the best ideas are the simplest ideas. They're the ones that are right in front of your face. They're elemental. So if you elevate the genre, like he does a great hamburger at Burger and Barrel, right? That's the idea. I mean, do something, but do it better than everybody else. But today's world is not necessarily. People are not necessarily that discerning, about what's better.
Wait a second. The two of you both are in venues. Okay, you're at the Garden. You're at Citi Field. You're at Citi Field.
Yeah.
Okay, you've gone to a fast casual type of situation. Do you think the opportunities are greater in the fast casual than the fine dining?
I don't see the difference personally.
What about you, Josh?
They say the future is in fast casual because you're eliminating the front of the house. There was just an article today that customers are ordering their own food. You eliminate the front of the house staff with the tipping and everything else. I mean, I walked into one of these kavas the other day, and there was just a line of people, and there's no servers. They just walk up, they make it. There's a 4-person line. They make it right in front of you, pay the cashier, and you sit down. I mean, that's a much lower check average than we're used to. Are they making up for the volume? I don't know.
Think about an industry. We were fortunate that we could pay a very small wage to the front of the house workers. And because of the tipping system, they subsidize these workers. So now, year after year, the wage went up, but now we're right at that moment where certain restaurateurs made the decision, okay, let's do away with tipping. The public was subsidizing 20%. 20% is a huge chunk of money. And the only way you make money in the restaurant business is if you do a tremendous volume, which obviously cuts into quality, because the more you do, the less you can control. And, or somehow, you're controlling costs, but I mean, if you have a small place, so what? So it's no mystery.
So what's your thoughts about food halls?
Oh my God. It's good for the.
I know you like
for the landlord.
Wait a second. I know that one of you guys likes Katz's quite a bit. Okay.
One of us? You think just one of us likes Katz's?
No.
Which guy between?
Raise your hand if you like Katz's.
The three of us, which one do you think likes Katz's just a little bit?
This is like the.
Because I have a pastrami sandwich in my back pocket.
But Katz's opened up the food hall in Brooklyn, in that 50,000 square feet, and they're doing really well. I mean, do you see the proliferation of all these food halls today? Are they all going to survive?
They go from calling it a food court,
right,
to calling it a food hall, and it's elevated. It's like
right.
Suddenly. But listen, I drive to work every day on the west side, and I pass what was supposed to be I guess Anthony Bourdain at some point was supposed to do a food hall
Street,
there.
right.
The thing is massive. I mean, once that thing goes in, and then there's something in the High Line, right? Jose Andres, 35,000 square feet. I mean, where are the guys?
Right, and Cipriani's opening up on 60th Street.
And they're able to do it at a lower cost because they don't need the same kind of staff. And at the same token, right next door to all these people
no front of the
restaurants.
house in those businesses.
Listen, I was just in Lisbon. I went to the Time Out Market in Lisbon. You been there? That was amazing. It was amazing. I could have went there 5 days in a row. I could have sat there for 4 hours.
But you could replicate certain of your businesses in a food hall.
My question is, with a footprint that small, you really need to do a lot of volume. They take a big cut of the sales. We've been offered food halls left and right, and my partner, I look at it, I'm like, is this worth the energy that it's going to take to really move the needle? And I don't know.
When you actually sit down.
Well, the guys that own the food hall, come on in. We'll give you 20% of sales, and we'll provide the plates and the napkins. I'm like, that's great, but
all these food halls are terrific. I mean, when you finally get right down to it, they're taking so much. There's no way that it's worthwhile. There just isn't.
What about tipping? You brought it up before.
I mean, I think if they do away
you
with
work for Danny, he created it. He created the little monster.
And I think, well, I don't know if he created the monster, but he
He's
certainly
the
is.
enthusiastic individual.
And I think, maybe he knows something.
Well,
we haven't figured it out.
if there's an inevitability about it,
Right.
he tried to get out in front of it.
Right.
The rest of us were hoping that, something's got to happen here because it's a doomsday scenario. It just is.
Yeah, and I mean, ideally, the goal was that they were putting money into this pool that then you're able to pay the cooks a little more money, right? That's our biggest problem is the inequality
Evening it out.
between the front of the house and the back of the house.
Right.
So in that respect, it's a great idea, but I don't know if he's really mastered it in the sense that the cooks are making anywhere near what the front of the house is making. The front of the house now still is not making what they used to make, so there's a gripe there.
Minimum wage went up anyway. So,
Right. And I think, if they do away with the tip credit and we basically are stuck paying minimum wage to everybody at the same level, I think every restaurant's going to have to do away with tips, and we're then at least all on the same playing ground. I mean, it's the problem is you go to one of his restaurants or another restaurant that's doing hospitality included, and they look at those prices, then you compare it to another restaurant. In the long run, you basically are at the same point, but you don't realize it when you're looking at that menu.
What's the point of no tipping? The point of no tipping is to save the customer some money, right? Okay, so the customer today in one of Josh's restaurants gets a bill, he's going to leave 15 or 20%. Do away with the tipping. He's going to have to add the 15 or 20% to the check. Are they saving any money? Absolutely not. Is it going to cost us money? Yes, because our business fluctuates. Mm-hmm. It's not consistent. So the waiters were accepting that sometimes they're going to make a little less and sometimes they're going to make a little more. Now they're going to make the same thing, which is going to be bupkis. Because what's going to happen is when we finally sit down, we realize we're not going to be able to pay the waiters $20 or $25 an hour like we do when there's a private event or something like that. So the waiters
I also think it takes away a little bit of fire under their ass. Can I say ass on the shoulder?
Yeah.
When you drive sales, you want to drive sales, right? You want to
motivate people.
Right.
You want to motivate. You want. There's a challenge there, and it's not about taking advantage of customers. It's saying, hey guys, you want. I always tell when people sit down with around the cocktails, hey, can we get you some spreads or whatever snacks you have on the menu while you look at the menu. You got to drive sales. You got to drive the experience, and you got to drive the check average. I mean, you got asses in the seats. You have to maximize their experience and maximize the cover per head. And I think that took away from a little bit. Well, if I'm just making X amount of dollars per hour, I don't need to work that much harder.
Okay, all of you operate also in Miami, you operate in New York. Where are the opportunities there? Are there opportunities now that they opened up 2 new hotels in Atlantic City? Now that they opened up the new Concord upstate? Are there opportunities in the boroughs because the gentrification and the expansion of people moving out to the boroughs? Are there opportunities in Westchester? Where would you go next?
I don't know. I think it's a tough question because ultimately I think it depends on what you want to do and how attached you want to be to something. We were just talking about, Jersey and Westchester and doing something there. Do you want something in your own backyard? Do you want to have to spend your day off going to the restaurant? I think there's opportunities. Again, it's a matter of, how much do you feel you need to make in revenue each year in order to make it worth it. And I think some of those areas are going to be questionable in terms of how much you can make. I think in the city, you kind of know with X amount of square feet, you should be able to do this. Everything else to me is...
The city, when you're talking right now, that's Manhattan.
Yeah.
Okay? What about the other boroughs? Okay, we were talking about Bushwick and Greenpoint and other neighborhoods, and people are running over there, Williamsburg. Do you see any opportunities for all of your type of restaurants?
Sure, why not?
I think there's opportunities everywhere. It's what you want to do. It's where you want to spend your time.
So
it's
if you're
going
to open up, you have a lure, okay, you have the burger, you have the other items, the Mexican. What restaurant would you open up next if you had an opportunity today?
I don't know. I think Lore and Barry Meat Company are 2 very solid brands. They all are, and it's just a question of where and
what the need is.
Yeah.
You, Drew?
Today, basically, you're gonna make a deal with a hotel because the hotel is going to pay you top dollar. You don't have to worry about the bottom line. They need food and beverage.
You're going to get a percentage.
You'll get a management fee or a percentage.
Right.
That's the way it's going to work for
The best thing you can do is get a good licensing deal.
us.
give them the program, give them the Bible, give them the book, set them up, oversee it from afar, and just hope they, they
Right,
represent.
because you're omitting the risk. You're taking away the risk. You know what your reward could be. If you get a higher percentage, if you get the food up there, you're going to get a higher earnings over there.
Like in Las Vegas, Steve Wynn kind of changed the whole ball game, because when he called us all out there, it was kind of like, you have to give me something that I can't create myself. In Treasure Island, he used to have an Italian restaurant, a steakhouse, but they were all anonymous. So Bellagio, he has Todd English, and he gets, Julian Serrano for Picasso, but those guys don't have to worry about the bottom line. They get 10% of the gross and 5% of the net. Well, guess what? Those deals went away. So then, those deals did away, and then he's like, when he did his next, the Wynn, obviously he's not going to be around. He's not around now. He just went directly to the chefs, like Paul Bartolotta.
Right.
Offered them $500,000. And they, whether they made money or not, it was a different approach.
It was also a necessity for the hotel. He needed it for his customers. Okay, Borgata has a couple of deals in the similar way.
But nothing in Atlantic City, if you ask me, made any sense. Has anybody made money in Atlantic City?
Yeah, they're opening up the Revel again tomorrow.
Is that right? Yeah.
The Revel and Hard Rock. So you're going to have 2 new hotels opening up, which have been closed for 4 years. Okay, the Taj is becoming the Hard Rock. It's a different market. What about Times Square?
Oh. Right on the corner. It's empty. You want it, Mike? I can get it for you.
No, you know what I'm saying to you? Shelley opened up on 45 again. And they're...
Shelley's absolutely out of his mind. Shelley Fireman,
Did they close Bond 45?
They closed the original.
They closed the
45,
building.
But
They closed the original Bomb 45 because the property was taken over by the landlord. So Shelley reopened up Bomb 45. And the restaurants do well in Times Square, but it's a different thing.
In Times Square, your break even on most of these restaurants is going to be like if you do $8 million or more in business. It's like if you do $8 million, you should be wealthy for the rest of your life. I mean, it's crazy. It's just insane.
I always used to say, I've always had friends that would live in the suburbs. Oh, you have to open a restaurant here. There's no good restaurants here.
Yeah, there's no good restaurants.
I said, yeah, but you guys eat out Friday, Saturday night.
That's
What happens Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? But I would always say in New York City, you have 7 million people in your backyard that eat out 7 nights a week. But now there's so many restaurants, there's so many options that everybody's fighting for the same business that it's diluting a little
But you
bit.
also have 62 million visitors to New York last year. Okay, 62 million visitors.
Think about this, Michael. What did you say? You call them visitors, right? So in the old days, it was tourists, and that was a dirty word in the restaurant business.
Right, tourists. We took.
We didn't want them. We didn't want the tourists.
I think
Right,
it's
but
getting
how many-
harder and harder to capture the tourists.
Right.
And this time of the year, everybody seems to have disappeared to go out east or wherever it is. I mean, back
that's true.
10 years ago, I didn't see the same, disappearing act of
Part of the
everybody.
biggest problem today in getting to a restaurant in New York is the traffic. The traffic running around the city, it's not a joy to schlep around with the cars and everything.
That's true. That's very true. I mean, I built my career in Tribeca. It was always like, it's hard to get to and all that. And, nothing's really changed other than it's been built up. And now,
Here's a question. Related and Oxford are building Hudson Yards, okay? They're going to try to replicate what they did at the Time Warner Center with certain restaurants, probably subsidize the restaurant over here. There are other developments taking place on the west side. Okay, right now you have Clyde's is the only restaurant to speak of over there. Are there opportunities that you would think of going into the far west side of Manhattan?
I think it's going to be a very amazing area, and I certainly would love to be in there. But with the food halls and the other 12 restaurants that are opening up, it's a big gamble because I don't know if they're subsidizing it the way that Wynn did. We're talking about you still have to pay rent.
No, there's rent. This is not a
Exactly.
Wynn type of thing.
So
This is an operation that you're going to have to pay rent. You're going to have to take care of everything.
I give everybody a lot of credit. The people are going to open up on the High Line because Dan's right. It's going to be absolutely, it's going to be buzzy. It's going to feel great, and it's just like the Meat District. It's going to have a lifespan.
But look at Lower Manhattan, though, after 9/11. You didn't think it was going to reserves rate?
Oh no, I wasn't that worried. I mean, listen, there was a great deal of uncertainty, but I knew we'd come back. Look, Nobu was in a singular location in Tribeca for 24 years, where our rent was $2,000 a day. That wasn't good enough. We moved 15 minutes away. We're right by the
Trade Center.
hub right over there, the transportation,
Oculus, right.
the Oculus, which they just opened it up, thank goodness. You know, and we're doing great. And Nobu's unrentable. It's been empty for a year and a half now. It's incredible. How crazy are these people? I don't know.
Landlord, the original Boulay, did the same thing. Kicked out the original Boulay, one of the most memorable dining experiences I've ever had.
Of course.
And sat empty for years. Because, you know, like well, you're doing well, I need to do better.
Yeah,
I want to be I want a piece. I want to be an owner now.
The place down the street from me, almost the same size, $83,000 a month.
Oh, yeah.
So all I know is, once again, the dean, Mr. Naporin, okay, has brought together a great group.
Motley
I can only
crew.
wish the best to Mr. Josh.
I'll leave you my number.
What? You want to advertise?
Tell your restaurants, Lure.
Come on down to Lore Fish Bar, Burger and Barrel, Bowery Meat Company, El Toro Blanco, and Bistro Leo. You drop Drew Nearport's name, and we will blow some up. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Okay, and on 8th Street, Loring Place?
Loring Place, 8th Street between 5th and 6th.
Batard, Nobu, Tribeca Grill.
Well, you still have the business card? So I'd like to thank everybody for being
Thank
here.
you.
See
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.